Welcome to Talking Mopars, episode number 158. This is a replay of the live streamed episode that I recorded on Wednesday night with my friend Nico, who you can find on Instagram at world.wide.classics. Nico buys and sells classic cars and goes on all sorts of fun adventures with our friends from Mopars 5150. And he also has some good advice on how you can avoid getting scammed when buying a Mopar or any other classic car for that matter. So without further ado, if you are a Mopar enthusiast, then you are in the right place. Don't go anywhere. You're tuned into the best Mopar enthusiast-driven podcast on planet Earth. And I'm your host, Chris Albrecht, better known as the Mopar Hunter, and this is Talking Mopars.
You're listening to Talking Mopars with the Mopar Hunter, your direct connection to all things Mopar.
What's happening, folks? Surprise.
What's up, everybody?
Wednesday night edition of Talking Mopars with my friend Nico. Nico is in the building. If you don't know who he is, he's got a pretty prolific Instagram page.
I like that.
How many followers you got? You got like 30 or 40,000?
Yeah. I think I just hit 40.
You just hit 40.
A major jump. Like, I had a major. Last year, I was looking at last year, I think I had 3,000.
Yeah.
And from 3 to, or maybe 8, I think, or something. And I was like, holy crap. Like, hopefully by the end of next year, I'll have 10. And then just like, I want to say like almost within the span of 3 months, I went from like 8 to 10, 10 to 20. And then I got to like about 30. And then it's kind of slowed down a little bit.
Yeah, well, that's what happens when you post cool shit, dude. You know what? I just jumped from 6 to 10,000, and it was just from 30-second short videos. So,
dude, I mean, never in a million years did I think that like I'd have 40,000 Instagram followers, that I'd have a group of friends that I met on Instagram that I would travel across the country with to go hang out with. That,
man,
you know, I mean, like, this is Instagram. This is Instagram. Like, this is all Instagram.
Yeah,
it's all came from Instagram.
You know, as much as I hate the internet sometimes, it's been awesome for like our community of muscle car people. You know what I mean? The ability to network and meet people and obviously find badass cars. Crazy.
It's so fun, man. I mean, it's just, I couldn't imagine that this is like, if you had told me, I would have been like, yeah, you're full of shit. There's no way.
Well, I don't really know too much about your background, dude, and how you got into cars and stuff. So let's start there, man. How long have you been into cars? When did you start buying and selling and hunting down these badass cars?
When I was 10.
Okay.
I mean, if you look at my Instagram, I think I have a picture of me that I just posted not that long ago. And I say not that long ago, but there's a picture of me at like maybe a year or two, like not even 2. I couldn't have been older than 2. And let me mute this real quick. My dad's got me in a 68 Charger. Oh, dang it. It muted you. That's not what I wanted. I'm trying to mute my text messages. There we go. There's a picture of me in a 68 Charger. I couldn't have been older than 2 years old. Like, wow. My dad moved out here from New York in 89.
Okay.
And started buying and flipping cars.
Okay, so you've been in the business your whole life, basically.
Yeah, my dad had a dealership actually for a long time. And I posted a picture of a black 73 Cuda for $3,500.
I think I saw that
with the stickers on it. It said $34.95. Gorgeous black Cuda that today, I mean, it's got to be at least a $30,000 car or $25,000 car on a bad day.
Absolutely. Was he always selling muscle cars, or was it just a regular dealership, or what?
No. Well, it was a regular dealership. Like, they were selling, in the 90s, early 2000s, they were selling, 80s, 90s cars. But he was always buying like Corvettes and Camaros.
Okay.
He had to add in the penny saver, like I'll pick up your car.
Yeah.
And like he tells the story, he went to go to a lady's house, and he knocked on the door, and she goes, "Yeah, come in, Sonny." And there was a '67 Camaro, a '69 Camaro big block car that actually turned out to be a headlight washer car, which is really freaking cool.
Really?
And a bunch of motors, bunch of parts. And my dad goes, "Well, how much do you want for everything?" She goes, "Oh, just take it, Sonny."
Oh my God.
Just take
Where
it.
does she live? Let's go knock
Just
on her door,
take
see if she's got anything left.
And so he felt so bad, he left $300 on the coffee table. He brought him coffee, and he put it under the coffee.
What a good guy. I like your dad already. I've never met him. He's a great guy.
Or like people would call with Volkswagen buses, and he'd be like, "No, just call pick apart."
Oh my God.
Kicks himself for that one, I'll tell you.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I think I sold like the first one that I can remember. The first one I can remember finding. I remember finding a 70 road, and it just so happens that it's a Mopar. Maybe I have selective memory. Was a 70 Roadrunner, and that car later went on to be in the Fast and Furious movies. As a matter of fact.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was for what is it, Fast 6, where they used that orange Roadrunner.
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe it was a '69.
Wow, that's crazy.
70. Yeah, it's a 70. For all I know, it's probably the one that sits on the Universal Studios backlot, like in the display.
Wow.
I wish I had the VIN.
Yeah.
Somewhere. Maybe if I find an old computer, I could find it. But and then the first one I sold was like at 16. Was a CUDA. 70 340 Sublime CUDA project.
My God. So you guys have you're in California now. You guys have a location and everything in a dealership, or is it kind of like all based online, or how's that work?
So I have my warehouse here. I've got 10 cars in here. This is mainly a hobby shop. Troy and the Mopar 5150 guys leave all their cars with me. Everything in here is his, except for the purple TA right here is mine. I got this because I needed the space. All the mechanics and everybody called up like back to back and was like, "Hey, your car will be ready next week. Hey, your car will be ready next week." And I'm going, my cars are going to be on the street next week if that's the case. So I was like, "Hey, I need to get a warehouse. And so I came and I got this place, and everybody flaked.
Oh man.
Everybody flaked. Like my Camaro's still not done. Well, I don't want to say flaked. Flaked is a bad term. Things just went wrong. Parts weren't there, and with COVID, the parts weren't coming back, and I needed to get this, and I couldn't get over there. And, it just turned. COVID just messed everything up, and so I told Troy, I said, "Hey, dude, my warehouse is empty. Send some cars down." And the rest is history, I guess.
How did you get linked up with Troy and the guys at Mopars 5150?
That's my favorite story.
Okay, all right. We're getting right into it.
So I had just made my Instagram. This was probably 4 years ago. I had bought a Plum Crazy 70 Charger, 383 4-speed car. I had sent it to my body shop guy to have him, finish some stuff and whatever else. And I wanted to sell it. I'm like, I'm just going to sell it and move on. And I had actually kind of handshook with the guy about it, but I had found Troy's Instagram page. I don't know who showed it to me. And I was like, dude, like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
And that was pre like everything else. You know what I mean? Like that was before, I think Tony and Troy and I all met at the same time.
Okay.
So that was like the very beginning. I mean, Troy was Mopar's 5150 by himself at that point. And I think Sergio was working for him at the time.
Okay.
And, Dan was, helping him out and whatever. So I was like, dude, I have to meet this guy. And I would chat and I would message him and we would chat back and forth and blah, blah, blahs. And so at one point, I was like, hey, would you buy this car? And he was like, yeah, I'm actually in Southern California right now. Can I come see it? And it's like 9 o'clock at night. It's like 9 p.m. on a Thursday. The car is probably 20 minutes from my house. I'm already in bed, and I tell my girlfriend, I'm leaving. She goes, where are you going? And I go, I'm going to meet this guy. She goes, what do you mean you're going to meet this guy? And I go, I'm going to meet this guy. I have to meet this guy. Like, I just have to go. And I go, he wants to buy the car. I go, number one, first and foremost, he wants to buy the car. That's the most important part. Yeah. But I go, like, I just have to know. I have to know what's going on. Like, are these cars for sale? Like, I was like, maybe something's for sale. Maybe I'll trade him. I had a million scenarios going through my head, but I was like, I have to go. So I threw on some shorts or jeans or whatever, a t-shirt, jacket, hopped in my car, flew down to Anaheim, looked at the car. And then me and him sat there chatting till probably about, I'd say probably about 11 o'clock, 11:30. And the rest is history, man. It's
right
just kind of, Troy and Tony and all of us are such good friends. I mean, dude, like we talk every day. All of us. I mean, we have a group chat on Instagram that we talk every day. Dalton, Brandon, his son Davis, like we all talk all day, every day about stuff.
It's
whatever.
It's definitely a cool group of guys, man. When I went out I met you guys at in person at Muscle Cars at the Strip. You guys were all cool shit, and obviously you had some badass cars. I remember the first time I ran across Mopars 5150, it just came across my feed on Instagram, and I was like, "Who the hell is this guy?" I was like, "That's the Mopar hunter right there. What the hell is going on here?" And once I met you guys, and then got invited out to Georgia. That was when I got a real taste of what Troy was doing. Because it's one thing seeing all the cars on Instagram and stuff. It's a whole nother thing to actually be there in person and go, that's a lot of cars. Just so much fun. We went for the ride in the Roadrunner in Reggie. That was fun as hell.
I wish I wanted to take the convertible Coronet, but the convertible Coronet wasn't insured.
Yeah.
So that's okay.
And Troy's just so cool about everything. He's like, yeah. I'm like, damn, dude, that's a lot of trust. I had a couple shorter conversations with him when I was there. I was just like, man, where did you find all these guys? Because I'm like, he's got everybody all over the country. He's like, yeah, we're just all friends, And I'm like, hey.
It's hard, man. I mean, some people you can't trust. Like, it's just hard to trust people. I'm sure. There's a fair share of I've had experiences, Troy's had experience, body guys, paint guys, whatever, whoever it is, mechanics, at the end of the day, like once you find a group of guys that you can trust, like, hey, like I know if I sent Tony $100,000 tomorrow, not that I have $100,000 to send him, but if I did, I would have no worry about him, like using that money, touching that money.
Sure.
Other than for the purpose of which I gave it to him.
Yeah. And that's what blew my mind.
That's the important part.
That's what blew my mind about Troy, because I'm hearing all these stories about him before I even met him. And I'm hearing all these stories about the guy, and I'm like, so how does his business work? And I'm just getting that, like, a little bit of the inside scoop, and I'm just like, wait, so he just met all these guys on Instagram, and it just worked out like that? I was like, that is crazy, but that just goes to show you that there's still, good people and good, like, car guys at the core, car people at the core,
and
are usually
I've
good.
learned a lot doing stuff with Troy, and I've learned that, we hear about all these scams and someone getting ripped off and someone sending someone a car that was a piece of crap. And yes, we've had plenty of those. There's
Sure.
a few of those. There's one in this warehouse that's to my left of those, but 99% of people are good people.
Yeah.
Like 99% of people, if you send them you could send them a $200 deposit and say, hey man, look, hold the car. I'm sending a truck. You send the truck, you pick up the car, and that's it. You wire the money, the truck picks up the car, you get it home, and you're good. 99.9% of people. Don't get me wrong, there's plenty of them. Like, we've dealt with people that have taken parts off a car before we picked it up. We've dealt with people that hit an entire side of a car and didn't tell us. And,
Wow.
and some of those cars, it is what it is. 5150, man.
Sure.
It's all crazy.
At least you guys know what you're doing. It's one thing, like,
we know what we're doing.
Kind of. I need to talk to Troy and be like, how did you vet these guys before you just started sending them out all over the country to pick up cars for you?
So I think before Troy sent, so the first car he sent me, so I'd gone to Troy's house once. He had posted an ad on Craigslist for 3 Chargers. And I had emailed, this is after he had come to my place and we had, started chatting or whatever. He posted I call them mooch ads. You post 10 cars for sale and, you just let the phone ring. Maybe you get one guy. So he posted 3 or 4 Chargers for sale and a couple, 2 or 3 other cars in a Craigslist ad. No pictures, no nothing, but description, 2-line description and a price. And I emailed and I was like, hey man, I'm really interested in those cars. Can I come see them? And then he texted me and he goes, it took you long enough. Because the ad had been up for a whole day. Or
That's
something
funny.
like that, maybe 2 days. I was like, dude, are those cars really for sale? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, I'm on my way. Hopped in a rental car, grabbed a rental car the next day, grabbed my buddy Raheem, and we jammed up there. And I left with nothing because I got up there and I was like, is this for sale? Is that for sale? Is that for sale? What about this? What about that? And shot myself in the foot, I guess. But I don't know how many times I've been up to his house. I think I was I said to him hey dude, I'll sell these cars for you. I'll come up, I'll take pictures. And I mean, we're 6 hours away. So it's not
sure.
Drive down the street. I was like, I'll take pictures. And, if someone hits me up, I'll sell cars. And I mean, a lot of stuff that we do is people post an ad on the Facebook groups. They're like, hey, I'm looking for a 68 Charger. And I'm there. Hey, message sent, and it works out, and it's brought us friends. One of those messages brought us our friend Randy, who helps us. We've been renting these out for movies and TV shows and stuff.
That's awesome.
Dude, Sofia Vergara was probably at the where the wing is on the Charger, far away from us. You know what I
man!
mean? And we're
good God,
just crazy stuff.
I'm a creep. I would have been trying to stand downwind just to get a whiff of the perfume.
Oh, dude, you couldn't. They wouldn't let you.
I bet
they were no phones, no. If I had my phone in my hand, and he was put it in your pocket, and I was like,
yeah,
all right,
Jesus.
bro, no problem. Dude, this has just turned into so much crazy stuff. And it's just crazier and crazier. I mean, Tony was on Gas Monkey Garage twice.
Yeah.
Dalton got a whole episode the other day.
It was crazy. I saw the Superbird. I was like, because I must have been out of the loop. I don't know. I've been really busy, and I saw Dalton's Superbird, and I was like, "What the hell?" And then I went and checked out his stuff, and I was like, "Oh, he got his Daytona." I was like, "Oh, that's the reason why he let that thing go." I loved that Superbird. My God,
he got a whole episode, 25 minutes, all Dalton, all red dirt Mopars.
Nice. I need to get him on the show too, man. So many of you guys I've been trying to get on the show.
Super cool, man. I'm so grateful and so thankful. I texted the guys the other day. I'm like, hey man, I just appreciate all of you guys.
Yeah.
Just letting you know.
I've in the times I've hung out with you guys, I've never seen anybody pissed off. You guys are always happy. I remember walking around that yard in Georgia with Tony, and we were getting soaked doing a live. It was downpouring, and he was just having the greatest time telling me every single detail about every single one of those cars.
Tony is the walking encyclopedia of knowledge, man. And Tony does a lot. And I mean a lot. There's so much stuff that I don't think he I'm not saying that he doesn't get credit for, because Troy credits him for everything. But there's stuff that people overlook.
Sure.
That he does. We're all chasing cars, and I'll change some wheels, and I'll change a battery, and change the starter. I changed the starter on this Nova, and I'll do some work. But dude, like Tony got that Superbird running. That Superbird hadn't been running in like 20 years. Same with that GTX, if not 30 years. Like I think 1992 or 1998 or something. Both of those cars were off the road, and so like Tony primed it. Got the carbs rebuilt, put the carbs on, chased down fuel leaks. He did so much work on both of those cars that I think kind of goes a little unnoticed sometimes. Not that it doesn't go, because Troy posted and tagged him and whatever, but most people overlook that stuff when they're looking through the feed. Like they're looking at
they just look at the cars.
Up a car,
they just look at the cars.
Yeah, engine pictures. What do I want to see engine pictures on? So. Sure. Tony does a lot, man. Like Tony works his ass off.
For sure. Yeah.
Ass off. All the guys. I mean, dude, Sergio, like Davis, like everyone works their ass off. Like I can't imagine. I can't put in words how hard those guys work, and the amount of like really good work they do. It's just, it's impressive.
Well, the amount of cars you guys are moving around and the amount of cars you guys still find, I'm just like, damn, leave some for the rest of us when we actually have the money for them. Like, it's pretty remarkable, man. And I understand what you're saying about Tony. If I didn't know him personally, it would be just seeing a guy mess with all these badass cars, because so much of the time, especially with car guys, Mopar guys especially, they just care about the cars.
Yeah, dude. It's like, I mean, Tony does a lot, and dude, I mean, like I said, knowledgeable. Like sure. I call Tony. I'm like, hey Tony, what's the trim tag? What's the fender tag code for this? While I'm going to look at a car or something, it was like, oh, dude, that's blah blah blah. I'm like, oh fuck yeah, dude, that's what I thought, but
yeah,
and, it's just. The amount of knowledge he has, he's got more knowledge in like one pinky than some people. That Tony's one of those guys that when he's older will have forgotten more than a lot of people will ever know.
Yeah. He impressed the hell out of me when we were walking around. I'm like, let me see those glasses. You got something on like a little screen that's showing you all this information.
Man.
Not just, options on the cars, but specific details about the stories. Remembering if each one had a title, like it was insane. I was like, wow, this is super impressive. I forgot it all by the time it was done. I was just like,
times that by 3.
Yeah, absolutely insane. It was funny too, because I was so amazed at all the cars, because I kept saying, I've never seen this many cool Mopar projects in one place. And I told Troy that. I was like, I've just never seen anything like this. And he's like, you should see my house. And I was like, what? And he goes, this is nothing. I was like, Jesus.
Yeah, dude, it's just so much fun, man. Like, I'm just very happy.
Oh, how can he not be, man? It looks like you guys are having fun, and that's awesome. I like to live vicariously through you guys on Instagram and just look at all your shit and be like, damn, that looks like fun.
I live vicariously through Troy sometimes. I do.
Yeah,
I'm like, hey, doesn't that Superbird need like, I don't know, does it need to be polished or something? Like, you can send it down here, I'll polish it up for you.
And talk about a nice guy. You never know. Obviously Troy's got some money, and I've met some guys like that are just, dicks. Troy couldn't have been a nicer guy. I was like, wow.
Dude, we went to McCacken, and yeah, there was a dude, like the coolest guy you'll ever meet is like Tom Levick, and within the CUDA club, and he has all these people coming over to his place. And this place is a little bigger than mine. I have about 2,000 square feet. He's probably got about 4.
Okay.
And I mean, dude, that car's $4.8 million because it rolled across the block at 4.8 and he didn't sell it. So that car is at the worst $4.8 million. Sitting there, right? And like people are getting in and out of it. People are around it. And that's just one car.
Yeah. How many does he have in his collection? I know it's like one of the, like, is it the biggest, like, private, just CUDA collection?
I'd say there's got to be something. No, I mean, the brothers collection is.
Yeah. I really don't count those guys.
I mean, yeah, for a single person, yeah.
Yeah.
Convertibles for sure.
That's
But
insane.
there was 7 cars in there, and there was 3 that weren't there. There was his 2 Hemi Daytonas that were at the show that
Yeah.
we were at, and then there was his 71 Hemi Cuda convertible that was out getting some, work done. And he drives those cars. Let me tell
Nice.
you,
Nice.
he drives those cars, and super nice guy. Like, dude, if that were me, and people were walking into my warehouse, I'd be standing at the door, being like, "Hey, who are you?
Yeah.
Do you know?
Yeah.
Who told you about this place? Oh, you're friends with John? All right, no problem. Come on in." Oh, well, I don't know. Someone posted the address online. Be like, "Get the fuck out."
Yeah. Yeah.
See ya. And he doesn't do that, man. Like, people come in, he buys people food and like drinks. He hires a bartender like for the night.
Cool.
Like, coolest guy ever. Like, super cool guy. And then, like, the coolest thing for me was after the show, like the next day at the show, because it's Saturday night is the party at his house, at his place, and then Sunday is the show. And we're all walking around, and he comes up and he's like, "Hey, how you guys doing? What's up? What's going on?" And it just the people are just cool, man. And yeah, dude, like, every time I post something online, someone's got to say something. I don't care what it is. I could put a $2 million car up there for $500,000.
Yeah. Yeah.
And someone would be like, "Oh, it's a clone," or "Oh, like," I don't care what it is. They'd be like, "Oh, if it was black, it'd be worth more, or if it was orange, it'd be." I'm like, dude, like, anyways. So to meet people like that, and Troy and Tony and all those guys, makes up for all those idiots.
For
And
sure.
yes, I do say idiots.
I've been fortunate, and I have ran into less than a handful of guys where I'm like, I could care to never talk to that guy again. Most of the people I run into, aside from like on the internet, the trolls that you run into, but
there's
most
a
people in person are cool.
around here. But I mean, we have a pretty big, like, there's a pretty big car community down here. I mean, one of the shows that they have every Saturday has usually about 700 cars at it. And that's a Cars and Coffee.
My God.
You know what I mean?
Insane.
There's a handful of guys like that. And it is what it is. Hey, how you doing? And you move on, and that's it. But, majority of the people are good people. Majority of the people are nice people.
For sure. It cracks me up with the internet because, like you were saying, you could post a beautiful Mopar, a legit beautiful Mopar, and someone will shit on it in one way or another. Like, it'd be way cooler if it was Hemi orange. It's like, really, guy? Like,
yeah,
come on, man.
Those cars look hideous with rally wheels. It needs torque thrusts.
My God.
It needs a set of what are those stupid things I hate? Kragers. It needs a set of Kragers. If it had Kragers, I'd buy it. And I'm like, you know what, dude? I'll give you a ton of Kragers. I have a pair in the dumpster. I'll go pull them out. You can have them. They're yours. And the other wheels. Like,
cue me on Friday night. Nico's dumpster fishing out all the Kragers he's got in there.
Friday night, they're gone, bro.
That is hilarious.
First day, those are off in the garbage.
Oh man, that's hilarious.
Put some torque thrusts on before I put Kragers on.
See, I love Kragers.
Man, I can't.
Give me a set of Kragers.
I can't remember who it is. It's either Tony or Dalton loves Kragers, and they get mad at me every time I say that.
Oh, I'm pissed at you now too.
burn them to the ground.
Yeah, that's a great way to get some engagement. Take a picture of you chucking some Kragers in a dumpster. I want to see that.
I would never do that. I would give them to somebody. I would give them away before I threw them away. I wouldn't throw them away. I'm not that bad.
We do have a couple things in the chat here. Josh asked how many cars you have currently.
In the warehouse?
We'll say in your personal collection and then in the warehouse.
So in my personal collection, I've got the TA here. I've got a 70 Charger 500 project that I'm working on that my buddy Chris did a lot of metal work for me on. So I got to finish that up soon. I've got a 68 Firebird convertible that I bought with my dad. I've got a 68 Camaro, and I think that's it right now. I'm a little light
Yeah.
on cars. 3, 4. I mean, yeah, and I don't count. I mean, my daily is that 2010 Challenger. I don't count
Okay.
that.
Sure.
Even though that car takes up more of my time than anything. Yeah, and in here though, like physically in here right now, there's 9 cars in here.
Okay.
There's normally 10, and then there's 1. So there's 10 in here. There's 3 on the side of the house, 1 in the garage, and 1 in the driveway at the house. Oh, and then there's 1 at my work that we're stashing over there for a bit. So,
so that's your private. That's not where you do business out of.
I mean, I do. I mean,
okay.
People come in here to look at cars and stuff.
Sure.
You know, and it's easy. It's just so. This has been the most convenient thing ever. Like before, like my dad's friend Carlos would, you know, let me use a car and take it to the car show or something, right? Before I had my own, whatever. And I'd have to go to his house, pick it up, leave my car. This place is 10 minutes from my house on a
That's
bad
convenient.
day. On a bad day. So I come in here, I wake up at 5, get ready, here by 5:30. I open the door, I pull out a car, and I'm out the door by 5:35. I'm on the road. I'm in a car and on the road by 5:35. 5:40 if I have to jump something or pull something else out to get something else out. And it's just super cool. Like, I mean, dude, like Troy lets me drive his cars. I drive his stuff more than I drive my own stuff most of the time because his stuff's usually cooler.
He does have quite the collection.
So yeah, there's total down here, like, and then if you count my dad's cars that are at the house, I mean, between my warehouse, the house, and like what's out at mechanic shops or whatever, there's probably about 20 cars down here.
Wow.
Between me, my dad, and Troy. So 3 people, more or less.
That's a good amount of cars. What's the deal with the Challenger? Are you still selling it?
Yeah. I love the car, man, and I really wanted one. I mean, I had that project car, and since then I was like, I gotta have one. And I got it, and I have it. If I don't sell it, I'm not going to cry. Like, I'm not going to be like, oh my God, I didn't sell it. Boo-hoo. But at the same time, like, I don't think I priced it out there at like the honey, I got to sell, like I'm trying to sell it price. Like, I priced it at like whatever pretty much when I'm in the car is what it's priced at.
Sure. I don't remember what it was, but I remember I saw some people talking shit and I was like, I don't think that's bad at all.
I have it up for 60. I think I have it up for 67.9.
Okay.
And as far as I know, it's the cheapest one listed like nationwide. And it's got some rust. It's got some bubbles coming around. That's why I kind of want to sell it. It's just I had my dad go look at it, and you know, he had warned me about some stuff, and I just kind of ignored the red flags. And when he went and looked at it, it was on a lift, and he didn't see all the stuff around the back window, and the whole back window is like bubbling up, and it needs a vinyl top. And me being a perfectionist, I would just replace the vinyl top, the quarters, and just go crazy. Whereas someone else might just put a new vinyl top on it, grind down that rust, patch it up, and roll.
Yeah.
You know, like someone might not even bother fixing that right now. They're just going to drive the crap out of it. And in the meantime, I'm going to drive the crap out of it. And if someone comes along and says, hey, you know, I want it, they want it. It's not. It's not the worst car to be stuck with.
This crazy.
Especially because it runs and drives. This is the only car that I own that runs and drives, other than my daily. That's the only car I own right now that runs and drives. My 68 Camaro, once it's done, it'll be better, but will run and drive. But this is the only car I own that runs and drives.
Mike Coffee.
It's actually the most expensive car I've ever bought.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's the most expensive car I've ever bought. Right, this car right here. By a long shot.
Just from the pictures that I saw, it looked, you know, very worth, you know, somebody grabbing and doing a full resto on it. It's pretty damn solid.
Crap. Did I close that out?
No, I got you.
So you can kind of see, like, you see the back window there?
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, it's a nice car. Interior's done and blah, blah, blah. Mike said I bought one just like that 38 years ago. The Slant 6 for $600. Well, we almost got scammed the other day out of one for 15 grand, I think it was.
Let's talk about scams. I know you mentioned talking about some scams. So talk to me about scams, dude. You deal with cars more than I do.
So the one last night or the other day was 100% the best scam I have ever seen.
Okay.
Hands down, like not even close. So it was a 71 Challenger convertible. I wonder if I can pull up the screenshot on my phone here. Michael in Texas said he loves Krager's a-hole. Hi, Michael. I see you, bro. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you love Krager's. We'll check you into the mental hospital later. Don't worry. Let me see if I can pull it up on my phone here. So, dude, how many pictures have I taken in the last 2 days?
I will address this question really quick. This guy was asking about 383 big block 60 over.
The over?
I don't know how thick the cylinder walls would be in that. Take it to a machine shop. But
that's probably past my area of expertise. But and lots of guys run 60 over, and it's probably more likely to not last as long 60 over. But worst case, I guess you sleeve it.
How much does it cost to get a 383 block though? Standard bore and do what you want to. It's not like you're gonna.
Yeah, but 60. Oh, I have one in my garage that's a 70 HP 383 block. It's 60 over. Forged pistons, purple cam, blah, 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 blah. And I'm waiting to put that in the car. I just haven't found the car yet.
Okay.
But that's 60 over. And
okay.
I'll let you know.
I probably wouldn't be making it a drag car or anything. I don't know how long that would last, but hey, Anthony, check back in with Nico. I'm sure he'll post on his social media.
Check back in a few weeks. Okay, so here's the ad. Let's see if we can focus that a bit. Maybe I turn the brightness
I can kind of see it.
Let's see if I turn the brightness down, might make it easier. There we go.
Oh yeah. Okay, I've seen that car. Yeah.
Okay, so this is the car.
Okay.
Kind of faded. It's got some, ugly wheels on it. Slant 6, okay. $15,000. Got a phone number. Call the guy. I forget his name. I said, "Hey man, I'm calling about that Challenger." He goes, "Oh, I still got it." And I said, "Well, what can you tell me about it?" On the phone. I said, "Well, where'd the car come from originally?" He goes, "Well, it came out of South Carolina. I inherited it from my dad. My mom said my dad bought it new at the dealer, and I inherited it from my dad." And he's got a South Carolina number. It tracks, and I'm like, "Okay, the car's supposed to be in Vegas." And I go, "Well, when can I come see it?" And he goes, "Well, I'm out of town right now. I'm a truck driver." He goes, "I'll be back in town next Wednesday." And I said, "Okay, cool." I go, "Well, what else can you tell me?" I go, "Is it rusty?" And he goes, "Well, we did the floor pans and we did a trunk pan." I go, "Okay, all right, cool." He goes, "It runs and drives really well. It's got a small oil leak that, And then I go, "Okay." And then he goes, "It was originally a white interior car. I swapped it to black. I still have the white interior if you want it, but the black interior is brand new. I ordered it all NOS or whatever he said." And okay, cool. And he goes, "Yeah, I was planning to put a V8 in it and swap out that Slant 6, but then I looked it up and I saw that the production numbers were like 200 and something cars. 225. He said a very specific number, 228, 226. I don't know what the number is.
Okay.
Or 100. I think it's 100 and something cars they made. It's a very low production number car, which
for sure.
And he goes, "It needs a new top. And, the paint's not the best, but it's, he goes, if you wax it, it looked somewhat decent." And I said, "Okay, cool." I go, "Well, what can we do?" And he's like, "Well, I got a guy that called me first. He wants to send me a deposit. He's very interested." So right here, I'm like, all right, this is how the scam goes, right? But usually it's not on the phone. Usually they're just texting you or
Yeah.
like, hey, send me a deposit. Oh, someone else is interested, and you offer them more money, and they go, oh, well, send me a deposit, and you send them a deposit, you lose your deposit, and that's how it goes. So he goes, no, he goes, this guy told me he'd give me a call back in 2 hours, so I'm giving him the courtesy of calling you back in 2 hours. He goes, if he doesn't call me back in 2 hours, I'll give you the same courtesy. I go, well, I don't need 2 hours. Because at that point, I'm like, we're buying the car.
Yeah.
I'm like, we're interested. We want to buy the car. I'm like, I don't need 2 hours. I can, send a deposit. And he was like, no, I'm a man of my word. I don't want to cut his, he said some Southern phrase or something. I don't want to cut his throat, or I don't want to do something. I can't remember what he said exactly, but he goes, he basically said, I'm a man of my word. He did say I'm a man of my word, because I'm not going to, do that to him. So I go, at this point, I'm going, there's no red flags, right? Like the deposit's a little, whatever. And so I'm going, all right, well, I go, man, that's a bummer. It's sold. So I go back to work. I go to the grocery store. I get a text from him, and I don't read it, right? And then I get a call. I'm like, oh, that's weird. And he goes, hey, man, the guy's wife said that they just can't swing it for the holidays, and, if you're interested, blah, blah, blah. And I go, okay, well, how do we do this? And he goes, well, you send me $1,000 deposit, and he goes, you send me $1,000 deposit, and the rest when you pick it up, or, I can drop it off for you if you want. And, I'll the rest, before I bring it. And I was like, no. I was like, I've got a buddy in Vegas. I was like, I'll just bring you the cash Wednesday. And he's like, oh, I'm not in town. And I'm like, well, I can send you like a $200 deposit, and I'll wait till you're back in town. And then I texted him, and I go, well, how would you want the deposit? He goes, oh, do you have Cash App? And that's where I was like, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cash App, no. I was like, no, I don't have Cash App. I do, but
yeah, sure.
Do you have Venmo? So no, I don't have Venmo. I go, the easiest way would be for me to wire it to you, or, my buddy just come with cash. I go, that's just the easiest way. And he's like, oh, I've been screwed over so many times on this car, and blah, blah, blah. And then, I was like, man, I just don't have any of those things. I was like, I could, if you send me bank info, I can just wire you a deposit or deposit a check into your account or something. And he was like, oh, if you want, you can just go to CVS. And he gave me this like long paragraph, and I'm dumb. I shouldn't have deleted it. I should have screenshotted it and saved it.
Yeah.
But I didn't. I just deleted it because I was just annoyed at that point. But basically, once they said CVS, I was like, all right, well, this is a scam, and it is what it is. But, man, the intricacy of which this conversation was, and the knowledge that he had, like, thrown out there, and the story that he had woven was like someone's getting scammed off that car. Like, I'm sorry, it sucks. I hate to say it, but someone is getting their money taken on that car.
They have to get a little bit better with their scams, because there's so many of the South African ones, or the fucking I'm in the military ones, and
those are easy. I love those ones. I send them. So now when they send you on Facebook so it's easy to spot on Facebook, because when Facebook sends you a thing, it says, is this item still available? And then Facebook gives you like an auto reply button.
Yeah.
When the scams come up, it says, is this available? ? There's no auto reply button. It's just blank. It's just a blank message. And then I say, yes. And they say, can I have your phone number? And I say, yes, here's my phone number. And they go, I want to send you a code. And I go, that's not a cell phone. And they go, oh, well, give me your cell phone. I go, I don't have cell phones. And they go, well, just give me a cell phone number. I go, no, I don't trust cell phones. The government tracks them. And, like, dude, I have one. I think I screenshotted it. And I was like, oh, yeah. Like, I was like, dude, I'm wanted by the FBI. Like, they're looking for me. I was like, if you send me this code, like, they might find you. I was like, the last guy, they found him instead of me. I was like, I'm just going to dip. But if they find you, dude, like, good luck. And he was like, okay, I'll send you the code. And then I was like, all right, send it. And so, they send the code. I don't give it to them, obviously.
Yeah.
I delete it off my messages, so I don't even try and touch anything. And then they're like, "Oh, did you get the code?" And I said, "No, shit." I go, "The FBI must have got it." I go, "Dude, you need to run, like, now. And then, like, dude, they fucking blocked me. That account's gone. Like, in 2 seconds, that account is gone. And they're just gone. So that's my new one. That's my new favorite one with the scammers.
I haven't really, like, I bought one vehicle wiring cash into Canada, but it was only through a bank account. I would only do it legit. The Venmo stuff, like, my buddy Scott here, Heavens Mopars, says he got burned for $500 deposit the same way through Venmo trying to get a charger. Talked to the guy for a few days on the phone. He called him back after the guy got his $500 and his number was gone. That's the kind of shit where I'm like, no, God.
That's what happens. I mean, like, the intricate. That other one was intricate, and you know what, man? It wasn't like, most of the time. Well, it just happened. This happened. Michael just sent me a message right now. We had a CUDA listed, I think, for $22,500, and someone posted it today. National Auto Parts, same car, copied and pasted Tony's ad for $9,000, half off. Lemon Twist 340 CUDA with a motor and blah blah blah, fender tag and all that stuff for $9,000. So those ones.
Too good to be true is usually too good to be true. The red flag for me with yours was like you were saying, I got a friend there that can come give you cash now. And the guy's like, oh, it's like, hey, man, the guy's trying to buy the car and he's trying to give you a deposit and he's got a buddy that can give you cash in hand.
he could have taken my deposit right there. Had he taken my deposit when I was like, when the adrenaline's pumping and we're like, let's do a deal, he could have got my deposit for sure. Yeah. But he was like, no. I'm going to give this guy time. Like that was the part that actually calmed me even, I was like, oh, all right. I was like, okay, that's, cool. He offered picture of his driver's license with a copy of the title and this and that, blah, blah, blah. So, I mean, dude, like 100% the best one. I mean, I've seen, there's ones you email the guy and they, oh yeah, I'm overseas and it's in a container and, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, those are kind of
phone. Yeah, text message, email, like those are the ones that you got to watch out for. But that one over the phone was really, really good. I've never seen a scam that good, at least in memory.
How do you combat that too? It's like if they're that good, it's like, okay, FaceTime me. I want to see your face and I want to see an ID.
And then you tell everybody. But I've like posted on the page and they were like, "Are you an idiot? $15,000." And, dude, it was a 6-cylinder car with faded paint that needed a top.
Yeah.
Like, what is it? A $35,000 car? Am I buying it half off?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty realistic. I saw the ad.
Yeah. It's a deal. So, don't get me wrong. It's a deal. But, we weren't buying a $40,000 car. It wasn't half off.
Yeah.
It was, and they were like, "Oh, are you an idiot?" So I was like, you know what? Screw it. I deleted it. And if one of those idiots calls them, fuck them. Hopefully it's some asshole that was talking shit and not a good, honest, nice person. Because then I'll feel really bad. But the whole point of this is so everybody learns, and if one person like watches this and goes, "Oh shit," like they were talking about that, then I did my job.
Okay, so give me some examples of where maybe a deal has gone south or you got screwed in one way or another to try to help some people.
I mean, we really haven't.
That's good. That's good.
Like knock on wood. I mean, there was one deal. There was a guy in Vegas that had some Chargers for sale. It was a Charger RT. And they were priced pretty reasonably. And, he wouldn't really send us pictures. He only sent us like 3, 4, 5 pictures. He's like, if you want it, you want it. I got 10 guys in line. And we were like, all right, here's a $500 deposit for the 2 cars. And, we'll be there Monday to come get them. Or maybe it was Reno or something like that. But it was in Nevada. And so we drove out there and the cars were absolute shit. And so we were like, deuces.
Yeah.
And so we ate a deposit. But it was real. The guy was there. He existed. Yeah. I don't think anyone's gotten far enough to like do that. But dude, like you want to do a wire, and even then, man, there's wire fraud. There's
sure.
yeah, I mean, and even at the highest levels, like there was, it's not Hoovie's Garage, but there's another guy, kind of skinnier guy, and he does like exotic rentals and stuff like that. And he was talking about some kid that defrauded the Ferrari dealership.
Wow.
Like he had purchased this Ferrari, let's call it a LaFerrari. I don't know what kind of Ferrari it was, but
Sure.
It was exclusive. You couldn't get it. He got one. He sold it to the dealership. Then he sold it to another guy. Meanwhile, he never owned the car whatsoever. He fucking faked everything: the orders, the forms, the paperwork. So.
Wow.
I mean, at the end of the day, it can happen to the best of us. But I mean, obviously, cash in hand is the best way you want to do it.
For sure.
Wires, second best. And yeah, you want to FaceTime somebody and look over the car and say, hey, can you FaceTime me and let's go over the car. And they might say, hey, I'm busy or whatever. Fine. Hey, can I send you a $200 deposit?
Yeah.
Tells them that you're interested and you're serious.
Yeah.
And, you're not getting $500. You don't send them $9,000. And,
Yeah.
It's hard to say. And, we've had this discussion because the question is where does this come from? Are we feeding? Is there a frenzy that everyone's like, oh my God, I gotta have a charger.
Yeah.
So when they see this car, this is because I'm sure some scammer is going to use this car in 2 or 3 months. They're going to use my pictures, my description, and they're going to post this car up for $15,000,
No.
$20,000. They're going to put it up for 15, 20 grand, and they're going to get someone. And so the question is it a frenzy where everyone's like, oh my God, 15 grand for a fucking painted charger? Like, I need to get that. And that's where it's happening. Is there a lack of knowledge? Like, people just don't know and they get scammed? Or another thing, and this is my theory, is that they see me post. Let's use the yellow Charger as an example, because the yellow car, as you've seen in the pictures, or you can see in the pictures, has some bubbles and stuff in it. And I have it listed for $59,000. And someone probably went on there, and I haven't seen it yet or whatever. And someone probably is going to go, oh, I wouldn't even pay 20 grand for that car. Or someone else will go, oh, it's got rust bubbles and this and that. It's not the right color. I'd offer you 25 grand cash on the spot. And then so, Mr. David goes on there and he's looking through comments and he goes, oh, they're saying this guy's car is worth 25 grand. And he's seeing that repeatedly because it's not just happening to me. It's happening to everyone. Unless the car is up there for 30% off, and even then I'm sure it's still happening. Then this guy's going on there that has no clue. He just started looking at chargers and he's seeing all these people going, oh, this car is this and this car is that. And so he has it in his mind now that $60,000 car, let's call it a $50,000 car, is now 25 grand. And so when he sees it, because same thing with that car, someone's going to post it for 25 grand, he gets scammed. And I think that has a lot to do with it. I think that is part of why it's lack of knowledge, but it's also a bad knowledge. You know what I mean? Like, not the right info. Like, he's got enough information at his fingertips. I mean, the American muscle car or American Mopars page has 200,000 or 150,000 people in there. So there's 150 brains to pick, and he's picking the wrong brains. What is it worth? What is my car worth? And I'll go on there and I'll say that's an $80,000 to $120,000 car, depending on what it looks like. 50 grand, 50 grand, 40 grand, 60 grand, 70 grand, and it's like, dude, so I think false information, fake news, whatever you want to call it, is part of the problem.
That's why it's good to know people like yourself. Like, if I had a situation, like, I have a list of people where if I thought that something was legit and for a good price, I'd probably reach out to my little list of people and go, hey man, what do you think about this? It's you know what I mean? Like, unfortunately,
there's someone out.
with so many, 100%, with so many people in those groups and stuff, that there's a large percentage of them that, like Dean said, a sucker is born all the time. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, there's always those people that see their dream car for an unbelievable price and they just gamble on it. Either they get the, sunshine and rainbows and they gamble and then they lose.
I don't know if it's so much of a gamble as they're like, oh, this is what that car is about. That is this.
I mean, it could be
because some other idiot commented on some other guy's post.
Yeah.
Instead of going and look, go to classiccars.com and say, oh, 1970 Charger. Okay, yeah. RTs are starting at $60,000. This one for $30,000 should raise some red flags.
Yeah.
No, they going off Joe Schmo's. That's a $30,000 car. So now they're paying $30,000 and they get scammed. That's what I think. That's my opinion. Whether that's, I mean, we could do studies if anyone's out there and wants to tell us how it happened. Don't be embarrassed. We will keep it anonymous, and we want to do research.
For sure. I mean, Scott from Heaven's Mopars, he got burned with the deposit. I mean, Scott, if you're still around, throw in the chat. Was it, looking back at that deal, do you think it was too good to be true now that, you got scammed for the $500 trying to get a Charger? Do you think it was too good to be true, or was it a fair deal? I'm curious about that as well. Because it scares me to know that the scams are getting more complex and stuff, and that there's actually people that, know shit about these cars that could...
Heaven's Mopars has done 2 separate transactions with me. Really? Wait, who's this?
Almost. His name's Scott.
Scott.
You probably had Chargers. He wants Chargers. Scott's the guy I got my dumpster fire from.
Probably watching too much Mopar Hunter. I think they can steal one too.
Easy, Johnny, Mr. $100 fucking second gen Charger. Jesus Christ. Josh says Josh was wondering when you went out there for the Chargers, did you see pictures and did they look good, or was it just way off? Like, did they scam you with pictures when you went to Vegas for Vegas? When you lost
Chargers?
When you lost the 200?
So he sent a picture of, you've seen pictures of my TA, right?
Sure.
It's a really nice car.
Yeah.
And then you get there and it's not, they weren't even close. Like from 10 feet away, he sent us 4 pictures. He sent us 4 corners and, a couple other pictures. And we're like, all right, Russ, Brandon can fix that. And we can fix that. And we can fix that.
Yeah.
And then when we got there, it was like, oh, we thought floors and a trunk pan and quarter panels, and it ended up needed frame rails, or like the frame rail was bent, or, I can't remember exactly what it was, but they were rustier and less complete, I think, than the guy said. And he literally just sent us like 5 pictures, 6 pictures, and it was close by, and sometimes that happens. I mean, we've gone to look at cars a million times. How many can't tell you how many cars we've flown out to see or driven out to see. One car we thought was an original paint numbers matching car, and it turns out it was a repaint non-numbers matching car.
Did they try like advertising it as?
No, so I think it was just miscommunication as on my end more than anything. I heard original owner, and I just kind of maybe made assumption. I can't remember what happened, or the lead came from a friend of mine, and he said, hey, go look at this car. And I had talked to the owner, but it had been months since I had talked to him. So I probably just miscommunicated. Or I never asked. I never said, hey, is it original paint? Because, I just assumed it was original paint, or, he never said that the motor had been pulled out. So I assumed it was the numbers matching motor. And, but that one wasn't that, it was a big deal, but it's not. And I think we'll end up getting that car eventually. I can't say what it is. But when we get it, I can you'll know
Fair enough, dude.
what it is.
I think Scott said that he got screwed out of that $500 for an average priced project for 18 grand for a charger, which that's probably the best way to scam somebody these days is just put an average price project car.
Maybe he was just, yeah. I mean, maybe he was just. I just wonder, because I mean, maybe he was just a dickhead, and he had sold it to someone else for more money and took your money. That could be too, but I mean, scam, still a scam. So one way, whichever way you look at it. So yeah, reasonably priced project car for 18 grand. Still, yeah.
He got a Walmart burner phone and was talking to people just waiting for the one person to bite. And then as soon as they bit, he got rid of that burner phone. Gone. Man, that's rough. I mean, I'm sorry that happened to you, Scott. Scott's a hell of a nice guy too. I know Scott, so I feel bad because he's so nice.
So see, like that's one example. What do you do?
Yeah.
What do you do?
I'm weird. I could lose $200, be pissed about it, but be like, all right, it was $200. For some reason, the number 500, I'm kind of pissed. I'm like, fuck. Yeah, that's half a grand. Fuck.
That's half a grand. Yeah, no, I mean, makes a big difference. Yeah, $200. Sure. You're like, all right. Even $300, you're like,
I mean, $500. That's the difference. That's the difference between 5,500 and $5 grand. You know what I mean? That's rough, dude.
But yeah, I mean, dude, like stuff like that, or stuff like that guy in Nevada that we saw the charges is. I sent someone yesterday 100 and something pictures that Tony took of a car.
Sure. Every
corner, every angle, and I mean, if I go to Troy's house, I take 100. Minimum of each car in here, I have 80 pictures on a bad day, if not 120, 130. Like every inch of the floorboard, every angle of the floorboard, because one side of the frame rail might have some pinholes on the floor pan than the other side. So
sure.
I never want that. I mean, dude, I have references from people that, one guy said he'd almost only buy cars from us.
Wow.
And I like that. I want that.
Sure. 100%.
I tell people all the time, I go, dude, I'm not here to screw you because I want you to come back.
Yeah.
I mean, we've refunded people money, on a car that, hey, take your money back. Here you go. Have a nice day.
Yeah, sure.
Sorry. And so you want to make everybody happy because you don't want it to happen to you. So you try to make sure that you do it to everybody else. And then in turn, I mean, more or less, it's worked out.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's reputation goes a long way. You screw one person, and it is it's bad news.
Oh, shoot.
Especially if you're legitimate to begin with. You make one mistake and screw one guy over, and it's fucking the end of the line. I always get surprised when I hear stories about people continuing to screw people over. It's like,
I mean, you can't please everyone. So, like, I take everything with a grain of salt.
Sure.
And unless there's receipts that that guy cussed this guy out or this guy stole this guy's parts and whatever. Yeah. But I try to take it with a grain of salt because you can't please everybody, and some people are just angry from the start.
No, I've never heard a bad word about you guys. So other than the typical troll shit talker that has no money to begin with, and he's talking about what shit's worth. You know what I mean?
That's good. That's good.
Let me ask you something though. You're saying that you post that when you're selling these cars, you take hundreds of pictures or a ton of pictures. Let me ask you something. Do you still get dumb fucking questions?
Oh.
Okay, because I'm getting in an argument because I threw my van up for sale and I put 2 pictures, and it was mostly because I was at work and I didn't have other pictures, and I've been getting slammed for not posting a bunch of pictures, and I keep telling people, like, it's a rusty piece of shit. You either want it or you don't. If you show interest in it, I'll send you a bunch of pictures, but we're not going to sit here and play this fucking game because I could post the whole fucking van and everything about it, and you still would fucking ask me a dumb question, so it doesn't matter.
No, dude. I mean, like so that Mustang back there has no engine, no transmission. In the description, it says no engine, no transmission. And then the guy goes, do you have pictures of the engine bay? And I send him pictures of the engine bay. No engine, no transmission in the engine bay, right? And I get a message, does it run? And what I want to say is, are you freaking stupid, you idiot?
Yeah.
I don't. I say, no, there's no engine and no transmission. And they go, oh, I'm looking for something that runs and drives. And I say, well, this isn't that car. I'm sorry. What I want to say is, then why the hell didn't you read the description? Or there'll be pictures of like radiator hoses disconnected or the brakes completely off, and they go, oh, hey, blah blah blah, I wanted to buy the TA that was wrecked years ago. Oh yeah, well, I wouldn't call it wrecked. I wouldn't call it wrecked because I love that car, but yeah, it was wrecked. That car is actually painted now and getting assembled. So very glad to hopefully get that done.
Hell yeah. How long have you owned it?
Yeah, that's what does that make a difference? Mike, do you know? Because I don't know. I have no idea. I mean, if I hear an older guy on the phone, I'm like, how long have you owned it? And, they'll say, oh, I bought it, 20 years ago. And you're like, oh, okay, cool. Well, if you hear me on the phone, do you think I bought that car new?
Yeah.
Like, is that what you're hoping for? Like, that's what you're hoping for, I guess, right? Like, you're like, oh, yeah, I bought it 40 years ago, Sonny. And even 40 years ago, you're still second, probably third owner, maybe fourth.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you want a story? Like, I can lie to you. I can lie to people and be like, yeah, I've had it 10 years.
I've been getting hit with I've been getting a lot of messages about that van, and I knew it would happen. And every time I get a message, my first question, because I posted it nationally, like in van groups and shit, because those are most of the people that would be interested in it. And every time somebody messages me, my first question is, are you in Washington? Because I'm not like you guys, dude. I don't have the resources, and I'm not interested in dealing with an out-of-state buyer. So preferably somebody instead of me posting a bunch of pictures and shit, just come look at it. That way you can see it. That way there's no question of what is wrong with it. You can make your own decision, and if you want to make an offer, make an offer. And they're always like, I always say, are you in Washington? They go, no, that's way too far. And I'm like, it's in the fucking ad, dude. Like,
yeah.
Come on, guy.
The worst is when they do it at the end. They're like, oh, here's 100 pictures. And they're like, oh, where are you located, by the way? And I'm like, in California? And they're like, oh, yeah, that's way too far. And I'm like, dude, I want to be like, are you fucking stupid? And wring them by the neck, but I can't. So I say, oh, I'm sorry, did I not put it in the app?
Make him feel a little stupid.
I'll have to fix that. Thank you for bringing that to my attention.
Yeah.
And then someone else was like, 2-3 days.
That's hilarious.
Like, oh, yeah, it's way too far. And I'm like, well, all right. Maybe that's what I should do. 2-3 days.
That is fucking hilarious because it's true. That's the funny thing with coffee. It's true.
No, yeah, it's true. It's true. 2-3 days. Week.
We've got side bets going on. Every car coffee gets. Yeah, every car coffee gets. We bet on it.
That he's gonna keep it every now and then. Side bet.
That is hilarious.
Yeah. I would have lost on the charger had you bet on that gold charger with me. I would have lost. I would have said he was going to keep that for at least 6 months.
God,
I would have.
I haven't known Coffee for a long time, but I've known him long enough to know his habits. He does the Barracuda he's got right now. I don't think he'll be getting rid of that one anytime soon. I would be surprised.
That's a long-term one.
That's a hell of a keeper from what I've seen.
I could see that.
Hey, are you going to make it out to Vegas in March or what? You busy guy, I know.
Probably, most likely.
Fuck yeah, you are. Fuck yeah. Bring something nice. We're going on a cruise down the strip, bro.
We're trying to figure it out. We talked about it when we were in Chicago.
Hell yeah.
Troy said just grab 2 cars, you and your girlfriend, and just
fucking
drive over there. And I'm like, yeah, sure. I was like, I'll take the black Impala. I would take the 64 Impala over there in a heartbeat.
Good runner or what?
Yeah. Oh, okay. I'd probably take the Nova. Nova would fucking fly.
all the Mopar guys are like, this motherfucker, what's he doing on the show? It's like he wants one of the reliable ones to take. Oh, that's funny.
No, these have an AC. Like the Nova's got an LS in
Yeah.
it.
Oh, okay.
I would take patches. Patches would. We can maybe we can throw some vintage air on patches. And
I love that. I love that car, dude. God damn.
I put in the like, I don't know how long it was here with me, but I don't know, 3 months ish, maybe less, maybe more. Put 1,000 miles on it.
Oh damn! Driving the hell out of that car.
I think 800 and something. Like I think he came down here and had like 240 something on the odometer because they had reset it when they did the cluster and all that, and it left with like 1,100 on it. I like recorded it going over 1,000. And that was cool. The one thing everyone loves that car, man. Like I've never, like, you cannot walk away from that car. If you take it to a car show and you drive into a busy car show, like if you don't get there early in the morning when it's dark and like lock it and walk away, you cannot leave the car. Like people are coming up to you and like freaking hate it, but they'll do this. They'll be like, oh, is that paint?
Yeah.
Or is it wrapped?
Jesus Christ.
Is that painted? Oh, what did you do here? And you're like, dude, really?
Yeah.
Really?
That's how awesome the patina on patches is, though. It is like fucking perfect.
Chris did a great job. Chris Birdsong did a great job on that car. I've had people that came up to us and were like, yeah, I saw Birdsong working on it. Like they didn't even know who we were. And they were like, yeah, I saw Birdsong working on it. But I had a guy, when Troy sent the Superbird down here, the Petty Bluebird, the guy walked up. I'm like 40 yards away, right? But I'm watching the car.
Yeah, sure.
Go up to the wing and like,
motherfucker.
and I yell across. I'm like, yo, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And he's like, what are you yelling at? I'm like, this fucking idiot. By the time I couldn't find the guy, he took off. You know, but dude, like,
God, the audacity of some people. I've seen pictures of like women stopping and like putting their purse on cars and shit, laying their coffee on them. I'm like, what are you people doing? No respect.
Duster that isn't Michael. I don't know where you're at, but if you're in Southern California, I have a very, very good electric guy that I can recommend to you. He'll come to you or you can bring it to him, and he's very reasonable. Very reasonable. He's worked on, I don't know who many knows, but he's worked on Christopher Titus's cars.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He's a very nice guy, very knowledgeable.
If it's a Mopar, start at the bulkhead connector. That's what I always say with electrical problems in Mopars. Start at that bulkhead connector.
Start at the bulkhead connector. Start at the fusible link.
Yeah,
It's always the fusible link.
Yeah, and if it's a fucking rat's nest, dude, you might as well just go get depending on where the rat's nest is. If it's in the engine, just get yourself an engine harness, and if it's bad in the engine bay, you can almost guarantee underneath the dash is a rat's nest too.
It's just old. Yeah, I mean, dude, we did that. I was driving that orange Super Bee one day, and I just saw like, I didn't smell anything, nothing weird was going on, but it was traffic, so I wasn't watching the gauges.
Yeah. And
then all of a sudden, I look down, and they're all like this.
Oh yeah.
And I'm going.
Yeah.
But then I saw the fuel gauge go from empty to full, and I was like, oh, okay. And then I saw the voltage.
Oh yeah.
I was like, oh, okay. So I blew the gauges, and then we went in there, man, and like I brought the electric guy out, and he was like, dude, he's like, you can't fix this. We're like, all right, well, throw a new underdash harness, and then we were like, well, throw a new engine harness in it too. And I don't know if you know who it is, but Bryce Katz did it. He has that, his before he became a Mopar guy, he had a pink 68 Mustang, and now I think his Instagram handle is like 68 Charger or something. It's like it's like a patina. It's a patina car. It's like got like black primer on it and all that fun stuff. And
if I saw it, I'd probably remember it.
Yeah, and him and his buddy Squirrely Bastard, I forget his actual name, came and worked on it. I'm drawing a blank right now. I know his name, but that's their Instagram handles, and they came and worked on both of those cars.
Yeah, electrical stuff. Like my Roadrunner, I got all the original electrical wiring with it, and I was pulling it out. That shit is brittle as fuck, dude. I'm not trusting any of it.
No, dude, it's just not.
Yeah.
The good news is on this TA, like all the wiring's pretty good. It's all right.
Yeah.
It starts right up. Like that's my favorite thing about this car is it literally starts right up. Like I just hop in it, and tap the gas once, and it's on. And I can't say that about a lot of cars.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I would start looking into harnesses, dude. You could chase. I've experienced it, and I've seen people chase these electrical shit with Mopars. Go to any forum for B bodies only, for A bodies only. There are electrical threads that go on for days.
Yeah, it's just. I mean, well, it's just they fixed what they had and worked with what they had, and now you have brand new stuff. So yeah, Michael, I hate to tell you that you probably got to bite the bullet, but just buy the bolt-on, the factory correct harness, so you're not sitting there doing American wire, like rewiring everything.
Yeah.
I think I could probably put on a factory correct harness without issues. The other one, no, there's no way.
I'm an idiot with that kind of with the wiring shit, but
I could string it through the car for you. Like I could run it all the way to the back, and then I could like spread it out and make it look cool, and that's about as far as I get.
See, I thought that too, but they make them so easy now. Everything's labeled and shit. The problem is when they don't make directions specific. If you're not not an electrical guy like me, they might as well write the shit out in crayon so I understand. They made it good enough for me where when I sold my truck, because I didn't even finish the job, but I had basically the whole engine wired out, and I was like, when it went away, I was like, man, good luck with that, dude. I'm not quite sure if I trust myself, and apparently I did it good. So I did have one bad crimp, and then once that was fixed, the thing fired right up. So I would. With Mopars, for me, this is my personal experience, and I've had every single one I've had pretty much has had some sort of electrical shit. I pull off that bulkhead and just look at what's burned. If it's an old Mopar, chances are it's going to be burned.
I wish I had the thing. There was so much burnt.
Yeah.
Like so much burnt. And it was like, and it just made me go, man, how is this car even like.
And you can pick up something like this. They're color-coded wiring diagrams from classiccarwiring.com. They're like $20.
That's my skill set is right about here ish. And that's like up here.
See, I say that too, but between that and labeled wires, or just knowing, this is all color coded. So I mean, I'm an absolute idiot when it comes to electrical shit, and every time I've used one of these, I've been able to figure this shit out. So
I figured out how to get this running, so that was cool. But
yeah, it's a nice car too, man. I like the white top.
Took a little work.
With 17-inch rallies on it.
Yeah, on the 70s, the rallies look really good. On the 68s and 69s, the Magnums look really good. And it's a toss up between the year one ones and the BN 501s, the American racing ones. It's 50. I could go either way depending on the color of the car. Like Patches has the year one ones with the red lines, and God,
looks
those look
badass.
Really good.
Perfect for that car.
Perfect for that car, but like I don't know if you could put those on another car and it would look good. Like they almost look too big.
There's certain cars where I absolutely puke in my mouth when I see 17-inch rallies or the big Magnums on them. But on some cars it just works perfect. It's like, all right, perfect, yeah. Especially for big body cars.
I need to put them on the TA. She's like, just put it, because I took a set off of that other car, and she's like, oh, you should just buy a set and throw them on the TA. And I'm like, no, I'm not throwing 17-inch wheels on this car. I was like, on another one, yes. I was like, but I'm not throwing 17-inch wheels. She's like, oh, just put them on, maybe they'll look good. And I haven't done it because I'm afraid that they will look good. You know what I mean? Like I'm afraid I'm gonna be like, lower the shocks in the back a little bit, lower the torsion bars in the front, and I'm gonna be like, oh shit, like this looks good. But I like it how it sits right now. It's perfect.
There's TAs and AARs. They're in a weird stage right now where they're either ridiculously expensive or they're like Like when I see them for less than 70 and they're authentic AARs or TAs, I'm like, fuck, that's a good deal. Fuck, that's a good deal. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? That's just me, but
I think when I got the other one a couple years ago, the one that what was it, John? Oh, that Matt was talking about buying.
oh, Scott.
Scott, sorry, the one that Scott was talking about buying.
Yeah.
Restored ones were, and it was an FC7 car, so rotisserie restored ones were like 85, 90.
Yeah.
Now they're, I mean, one just sold at Barrett Jackson that had a repo fender tag, was nicely restored. I think it was an automatic, and that brought 120 grand or 110. And the dealer now has it up for 125.
That's
it's here in California actually. It sold at Monterey, and they marked it up, and they're selling it, and it's a gorgeous car, but it's a repo fender tag. And I don't know if there was a build sheet, non-numbers matching. So I mean,
that's strong money with no real documentation. But hey, they brought it.
Sold for 140. Yeah, 140, I think.
Fuck. Is yours originally FC7?
Yeah, mine's an FC7 car originally. The other one was an FC7. So this car is FC7, black interior, the black vinyl top. The other car was FC7, white interior, no vinyl top.
Okay.
Which I would prefer FC7, black interior, no vinyl top. So both cars are off a bit, and a 4-speed. Neither of them were 4-speeds, but my plans with that other one, and I just had bitten off. There's no way I ever could have done it. My dreams were bigger than my britches. I wanted to make that the competition for the Hotchkiss car.
Oh yeah.
I wanted to use a real TA and use all the QA1 stuff and call QA1 and say, hey man, look, you need to make this, this, and that. I don't want to put Hotchkiss parts on my car. So you need to take my car, and we need to make this stuff, and you're going to sell this stuff, and we're going to make a QA1 TA. Like, I'll put the stickers on the side, and that was my plan. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to build that car myself as best I could, rotisserie restored, build a nice 700 horsepower stroker motor for it. Fuel injection 6-pack setup, Tremec 5-speed or Passion Performance 5-speed. Freaking 8 3/4, great gear. Like, I just wanted to make that car a track car. Well, not a track car, but I wanted to make that car freaking the coolest pro touring resto mod TA that you've ever seen out of a real TA. And it just didn't happen.
I always get a little weird when I see them on the drag strip. I'm like, man, they're supposed to be on a road course. They're supposed to be taking corners, but
yeah, I one day maybe I'll do it with this one. I don't know. We'll see. If I hit the lotto, if I hit the Mega Millions that I don't play.
Yeah, neither do I.
It'll happen. All these, I mean, dude, like I said, I mean, I never thought I'd be in this. I never thought that I'd be in this warehouse with all these cars. They're not mine, but still, it's
cool, man. What you guys do is badass.
You sit there and think about it, and I start to cry, man. I'm like, fuck, this is so cool.
I know so many people that do cool ass shit like that. Like I said, I have no choice but to live vicariously, and I just think it's odd. Like, when I hear people hating, it's like, oh fuck, I wish I had money. Shut the fuck up, dude.
No, me too. I wish I had money. I fucking wish I had money too, because then then all my problems would be gone, and I'd have all the cars.
Good God.
It's just
work a little harder, get up a little earlier. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Tomorrow, I want a super, oh, it must be nice to have a Superbird. Oh, I can't wait to get a Superbird. There's a difference, and I mean, I'm younger than a lot of people, so
sure.
There's that too. But I hate seeing people comment on that's my number one pet peeve is especially if they're young, if they're my age or younger, and they're like, oh, I'll never be able to afford this, and it's like, dude, no, you can. Well, I'm at 10% battery on my laptop, so we'll have to wrap up.
All right,
yeah. If you're young, man, if you want something, it doesn't matter what you do. And I've told my brother this. I said, you need to figure out what you want to do, what you want, and figure out how to do it. Like, I wanted a TA, and it's here.
Yeah.
It's not the way I wanted. You know, I called my bank up and I said, hey, can you loan me some money? And they said, yeah. You know, my girlfriend co-signed for me, but I have it. It's here.
Hell yeah.
You know, I sell some other cars. I'll pay it off, and that's it. It's here. I have it. It's not the exact way that I wanted. It's not the exact car that I wanted, but it's here and I have it. And the next car will be hopefully cooler than this.
Yeah. I think a lot of people, they just get hung up on that instant gratification type thing. I mean, my Roadrunner, I could never afford to buy a car in the state that my Roadrunner is in. I just worked my way up from various trading and a little bit of cash and side hustles and shit. Like, I didn't pay for that car cash. Like,
dude, I bought my first car selling Volkswagens for my neighbor.
There you go. You just gotta.
2002 Lancer for like $3,500 from my neighbor. Sold some Volkswagens, sold some engines for him, and all that stuff. And that's how, I bought stuff. I bought it. I sold the Lancer, and I bought that 70 Charger with my dad that I have now. We paid $6,000 for it. I'm sitting at a body shop for like 5 years. My dad knew about it, next to his machine shop, so my dad knew about it. Finally, the guy sold it, and I think we sold it, I want to say like 3 weeks later, for like $12,500.
Hell yeah!
Like, fuck yeah! This had to be 2012. I would say probably 2014. I bought that car back, and now I have it again. And that's the one that Chris did. Chris was kind enough to do all the metal work for me on. I paid $12,500 for it. I gave the guy back exactly how much he wanted. And he had bought, the problem is it was a rolling solid car that in today's market was probably 20 grand. And he cut it all up and took the quarters off. But he bought all the quarters, he bought the trunk pan, he bought all this stuff. It needed a trunk pan and lower patches at most. I mean, the floors were perfect. And he took all, like, I at most, like, the floors, like, we've sandblasted that car and the floors are freaking gorgeous. There's not a pinhole or a pit in the floors whatsoever. And he cut it all up, and so Chris did me a favor. Now it's finally back at the house. I got the rear end in it. I got it rebuilt. I've got it on one wheel, sitting on one wheel and some jack stands right now. I got to get the other wheel on. I got to jack it up, slide it out from against the wall, put the other wheel on, and then I've got the whole front suspension up, getting done, and then hopefully I can get that up for sale soon and get that going along.
Mitch, I can tell you right now, you can, at the beginning of the chat, I put Nico's Instagram handle up. Reach out to Nico. I'm broke, so you don't want to talk to Nico about a 70 Super B, bro.
My cell phone number, if you're ready, it's 714-986-6225. That's the best way to reach me. You can text me or call me anytime.
Cue tomorrow when I get a message from Nico, like, dude, I got a 70 Super B. You won't believe it. On that note, man,
he wants to buy a Super B.
Maybe so, dude. Nico's the man. Nico, it's been awesome talking to you, man. I'm glad we got you on. You're gonna have to come back. We're gonna have to talk some more Mopars and more wheeling and dealing, dude.
Anytime, bro.
Right on, man.
Like I said, I hope someone watches this and doesn't get scammed. That's like my.
Oh yeah.
That was my whole purpose. I hope if one person just goes, oh, fuck it, call me. You have my number. My number has been given to everybody. Fucking call me and ask me. I will help you make sure that you don't get scammed. I will do my best.
Oh yeah. And Mitch, you can always reach out to me. You can find me on social media real easy. But yeah, man, we'll see you next time. Tell Troy and
guys.
Tony that they need to come on. We need to get a big group chat on the show.
Oh, dude.
Talk Mopars and shit.
We'll be up till like 3 a.m.
I know. I want to hear some more stories. I don't want to wait till Vegas.
We'll be on the phone. We'll be up till like 3 a.m. Set a whole day. Just take a day off, and we'll all take a day off.
Hell yeah.
We'll just do the whole day, a 24-hour live.
10-4, man. All right, guys. Thanks for watching.
Good night, everybody. Thank you.
And yeah, no Mopar left behind. And yeah, absolutely. Anytime, dude. All right, later, brother.
Have a good night.
You too. And that's it, folks. Special Wednesday edition of Talking Mopars. I hope you guys enjoyed the chat with Nico. We've been trying to get him on for a while, but my schedule's so messed up. I usually do this on the weekends, and we managed to make it work during the week. That doesn't happen all the time, but when it does, it's cool, it's fun, and I'm glad you guys had a little bit of entertainment on your Wednesday night. I hope you enjoyed Nico's stories and his advice. The kid's doing it, man. You know, like we were just talking about. You know, if you see all these guys, like, trust me, I see what Nico posts and what my friends post, and I don't look at it like from a jealous or envious, like, mindset. You know, I just think to myself, my way of thinking is, all right, how the hell can I do that? So I stay up late on a Wednesday night and hope that someday somebody's going to pay me to do this podcast, or I go out and do videos and hope that Facebook actually pays me, you know, things like that. You can find your way, or trade your way up, man. Go buy a $1,000 car that, you know, little elbow grease, and you might be able to get $2,000 for it. You just doubled your money, you know, things like that. You know, sometimes you got to hustle your way to the top. A lot of guys I talk to, a lot of them remind me, like, do you think I started flipping shit like this? Think that's how I started? Like, you know, you got to start somewhere, and, you know, your biggest failure is not starting, you know, and just sitting there, you know, at your keyboard or on your phone. I don't think anybody that watches this show is that type of person, but I know they're out there, and man, just, you know, keep hustling, stay positive. And if you're listening to the show or watching the show and you're one of those haters that's like, oh, I wish I had changed that way of thinking. You know, don't wish, make it happen, dude. Simple as that. You know, we see it all the time. Just look at, I mean, you could go crazy just going on Instagram and looking at all the cool stuff other people are buying and doing. You know what I mean? But dwelling on that kind of stuff, you just have to ask yourself, all right, how can I get to that level? You know, and don't expect it overnight. It's not easy. But what a fun show. Yeah, special Wednesday edition. I guess that saves me some work this weekend, so I can get in the garage and work on my Roadrunner, because it's about time I do that. So again, no Mopar left behind. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on the best Mopar enthusiast-driven podcast on planet Earth, Talking Mopars. There you have it, my friends. Another episode of Talking Mopars is in the books. For everything you need to know about the show, you know where to go, talkingmopars.com. And you can reach me by emailing Chris at talkingmopars.com, or by leaving me a voicemail on my voicemail box at 209-28-MOPAR, and you just might get to hear yourself on the show. So keep sharing those Mopar stories with me and anything else that is on your Mopar addicted mind. Special thanks to my friends at DIYHemi.com. For those of you that don't know, Blake has rebranded DIY Hemi, so although the website is still DIYHemi.com, DIY Hemi is now Sublime Technologies. So if you've been considering swapping a modern Gen 3 Hemi into your classic Mopar, then reach out to Sublime Technologies, get a hold of Blake, and tell them that I sent you. Blake has supported me from the beginning of this show, and I also support him in his mission to Hemi swap the world. Also, don't forget how important it is to keep your Mopar protected from the elements. If you need protection, don't wait. Head on over to TalkingMopars.com, click on the Affiliates tab, and go get your Mopar covered today. Before we shut this podcast episode down, if you want some Talking Mopars merchandise like t-shirts, hoodies, stickers, and more, check out the merch shop on TalkingMopars.com. I am working on some new merch. I said that on the last show, and I am going to let you guys know when that new gear is available. One final thing, if you'd like exclusive bonus episodes of the podcast as well as exclusive bonus videos, they are available only to my Facebook subscribers. Become a Facebook supporter today and get immediate access to those benefits, as well as a monthly supporter giveaway. You can do all that by going to Talking Mopars Podcast on Facebook and clicking the subscribe button. That's it, my friends. Until we talk again, I am your host, Chris Albrecht, and that was Talking Mopars.
Thank you for listening to Talking Mopars, your direct connection to all things Mopar. Until next time, remember, no Mopar left behind.